Coming up on Mountain News at 6, Eastern Kentucky continues to mourn as the second of 4 funerals take place following last week's standoff in Allen. And a new partnership between Pikeville Medical Center and a local nursing college hopes to keep more medical professionals here in the region.
More strong to severe thunderstorms remain possible tonight and into tomorrow. We just got out of extended tornado warning coverage. The very latest on where storms are now coming up right now at 6.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We'll have more on the latest officer funeral in Floyd County as the Prestonsburg community and that entire county continues to mourn in just a moment. But first, we do want to get a quick check of the latest weather situation. If you've been joining us for the last few minutes, you know that there was a tornado warning in parts of our northern viewing area, and a line of severe storms is moving through the region. So let's check in with meteorologist Evan Hatter first for the very latest. Evan.
Well, that's right, Steve. Our severe thunderstorm watch continues for the northern part of the area through 7 o'clock tonight. So really another hour on this. I wouldn't be shocked if it gets extended in time and in space as it gets pushed to the south, but that will be up to the National Weather Service. They have been busy over the last little bit. In fact, let's go to Pinpoint Doppler right now. You'll see our severe weather continues into portions, at least the portions of the Kentucky River Valley. A severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for a very large area, basically from Sandy Hook to West Liberty, back to Campton, back towards Stanton, back toward Beattyville and Irvin. That whole area in that orange box is under a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15 tonight. The potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds and hail to the size of nickels as this pushes through. But the severe thunderstorm warning also has a tornado possible tag on it, and that is because we did briefly have a tornado warning for portions of Menifee, Morgan, and Wolfe counties. That was allowed to expire early, but we are still keeping an eye on the potential for some very small spin-up tornadoes as they push through the area along the leading edge of these lines of thunderstorms. We want to take this seriously. We saw a little bit earlier on today, just east of Cincinnati, a similar thunderstorm complex did produce a brief tornado that caused damage in the eastern suburbs of Cincinnati. And I want to get the latest track on that, so I'm going to clear that off, and we'll get the latest track on that storm, that whole line of storms as it pushes to the east and the southeast at 30 miles per hour. We'll put the track on basically from Sandy Hook back to West Liberty, all the way back almost to McKee at this point, and that's moving to the east and southeast at 30 miles per hour. So West Liberty, it's coming up on you very shortly. In fact, it's on top of you right now. Hazel Green in the next 8 minutes. Isonville by 6:11, Candle City 6:16, Flat Gap 6:28. If it holds together, toward Jackson here in the next 40 minutes, and toward Paintsville again if it holds together by about 6:55. So we'll keep an eye on this, Steve. Over here, obviously, we'll have the very latest if things do turn a little bit more serious again. But right now, we want to get back to the news of the day. Over toward Steve.
All right, Evan, thank you very much. We will get back to Evan as necessary as we go along. Funeral services were held this afternoon for an Eastern Kentucky fallen hero. Prestonsburg Police Captain Ralph Frazier died last Thursday in that shootout in Allen, along with 2 other officers and a police canine. WYMT's Dakota Maker shows us how Eastern Kentuckians are remembering Captain Frazier.
Captain Ralph Frazier, a man who spent nearly 40 years doing what he loved.
He would show up, and that's been Ralph's trademark. He didn't back down, didn't run away. When it's time to show up, Ralph would show up. Then he'd sort of slide off and go away.
Frazier was seen as a mentor within the Prestonsburg Police Department, taking new officers under his wing.
He told them it's not always about black and white, it's about doing what's right. And you know, if you talk to any of our young police officers had an opportunity to work with him, that's exactly what they'll tell you.
He also served as a school resource officer. The students loved him.
You would see Ralph at a ball game. Ralph, am I paying you overtime? No, sir, I want to come see these kids.
But last Thursday night, Frazier gave the ultimate sacrifice, protecting and serving.
The Ralph was told on the radio, kind of hold back and not get too close. But of course, knowing how Ralph was, all we got was, we're number one out the window. but it wasn't his finger.
A man of faith and dedication.
I also know that Ralph was not alone that day on his last few moments on this side of life. Jesus was with him. So were many others of us, but most importantly, Jesus was with him. We are sad, and the sorrow is more than we can bear. Lord, I pray today that you will comfort this family and friends.
In Floyd County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
After the service, Captain Ralph Frazier was placed in a hearse and escorted by law enforcement, family, friends, and other first responders to his final resting place, Gethsemane Gardens in Prestonsburg. That's where all three officers are being buried. Fellow Prestonsburg PD officer Josh Hinkle reflected on his relationship with Frazier and asked folks to remember him as he was.
Ralph took me in and trained me and worked with me. He went to every call with me. He treated me like a son, as he did everyone. Today I ask and I pray that you can remember him for the man he was and the way he was.
Eric Johnson, the executive director of Supporting Heroes and a fellow Louisville Metro police officer, says the continued support for the families is crucial and these fallen heroes will never be forgotten. There's another funeral tomorrow. Services for Prestonsburg officer Jacob Chaffins will be tomorrow afternoon. A visitation for him started last night and continues today at Toms Creek Free Will Baptist Church. Chaffins was a 3-year veteran with the force. He was also a veteran of the Kentucky National Guard. His funeral is at 1 tomorrow afternoon at the Mountain Arts Center. Now, that family has requested no media coverage inside the MAC for his service, and we will respect their wishes. He will, as I mentioned earlier, also be buried at Gethsemane Gardens in Prestonsburg. And a memorial service will be held Friday for K-9 officer Drago. Drago served the Floyd County Sheriff's Office for several years. His memorial will be Friday evening at 6, also at the Mountain Arts Center. The debate surrounding abortion in Kentucky continued today in a Jefferson County courtroom. Attorneys for the ACLU are attempting to block the state's Attorney General Daniel Cameron's motions to keep the abortion ban in place. This weekend, a judge ruled against Cameron's request, essentially keeping abortions legal in the state for now. 2 doctors testified today about pregnancy and when a fetus becomes a human. Both testimonies offered very different opinions. Discussion also revolved around a legal expert's testimony who talked about the importance of taking care of the babies and mothers in dire need. A shooting at a home in Pound, Virginia left 1 man injured Monday evening. Wise County Dispatch received a call just after 7 p.m. from the Tompkins Road area of Pound. According to statements given to deputies, the man who was shot and his girlfriend had gone to the home of Morgan Tompkins. A confrontation then occurred between Tompkins and the victim that resulted in Tompkins firing multiple rounds, hitting the man in the back of the leg. The man was taken to Dickinson County Hospital before deputies arrived and was eventually transferred to Johnson City Medical Center and later released. Tompkins is being held in the Southwest Regional Jail. The Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife started an investigation back in June following reports of an alligator in a creek near Big Laurel in Harlan County. When officers with the department went looking for it in the Greasy Creek area off Kentucky 2008, they did find a 4.5-foot gator nearby. After they left to get equipment to capture the gator, they found a blood trail which eventually led officers to the home of a relative of the suspect. They told officers the suspect brought the alligator back from Florida and kept the animal caged in his front yard before it escaped. 23-year-old Cameron Cornett faces a number of charges now related to transporting and possessing an exotic animal. South Kentucky Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation customers could have a little extra money in their pockets when their next bill comes. Officials with the Kentucky Attorney General's office say the Office of Rate Intervention stepped in to stop a proposed rate increase. If the entire increase had been approved, the power company's base rate would have gone up 7.71%, which would have been an 81% increase on monthly bills. AG Daniel Cameron says his team was able to reduce the original proposal by 33.9%. State and local leaders gathered today on the future site of a new healthcare training center. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about Pikeville Medical Center's Project Heart and what it is bringing to Appalachia.
This can just be the start of something so much bigger.
An announcement all about access.
This is an issue that faces not only our state and our nation, it tends to fall more to rural hospitals.
And the partnerships that make it possible.
But they didn't have that opportunity. We are that opportunity. It's going to take all of us to make this happen.
Governor Andy Beshear made a stop in Pikeville Wednesday, announcing a more than $975,000 investment in the heart of healthcare.
The needed nursing pipeline, where groups like Pikeville Medical Center or ARH could know where their next employee was coming from, and how we were missing out on an opportunity to employ more Eastern Kentuckians to work here in great jobs in Eastern Kentucky.
A partnership between Pikeville Medical Center and Galen College of Nursing is bringing a Pikeville campus to reality.
We have thousands of openings in the nursing profession in Eastern Kentucky. This is a chance to give people really good jobs, and they can stay where they're from, raise a family. It's an incredible opportunity.
Focused on addressing the nursing shortage by providing another school to future healthcare heroes.
And if we do this right, we can change our healthcare trajectory, the health of our people, in such a fundamental way.
Bringing more training and teamwork to the mountains. In Pikeville, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Galen College of Nursing CEO Mark Vogt said he expects to see the first Pikeville class working in the next 90 days, and he is excited for what this all means for the future of healthcare. We are continuing to track the pandemic here in Kentucky, and the state is seeing a rise in cases. On Monday, the state recorded more than 10,000 new cases. That's about 600 more than last week. 38 deaths were confirmed, and the positivity rate is also up to 15.75%. Hospitalizations and the number of patients on a ventilator are up, but the number of patients in the ICU is down.
Continuing to watch strong and severe thunderstorms pushing into the mountains this evening. I've got the very latest on what to expect tonight and the next few days. The very latest is up next.
WYMT